So before I start, I would just like to tell you that the Moodle course, the course is updated in Moodle with all the video links, and there are quizzes that are floated. Every quiz has around 5 questions, and you have to first mark this video complete. If you can check over here, so that checkbox has to be checked, and then you will get the quiz. Okay, and you have to get everything correct, then only the assignment will open. Okay, so that is how this thing is. Okay, so similarly for the second lecture the quiz is there, and the third lecture the quiz is there. Okay, I request everybody to attempt that quiz, and if possible you can do the assignments also, because you can understand the concept better once you complete the assignments. Okay, so let us go back and quickly revise the topics that we have covered in the last lecture, right? So this is the second week of course on introduction to version control. So we have seen what is version control and when to use it, which are the various version controls available. I have mentioned some of them. Then what is the definition of Git that I have mentioned. Then I just told something about my um, how I switched to Git, a little bit of history, then the course contents. Okay, then now we will start just by revising the commands that we have learned in the last. Okay, within 5 minutes we will cover this and then start with our today's session. Okay, so the first command is git config. Okay, so this git config is used to either read or write the changes of the config file of your git. Okay, so basically if you just want to read your config, then you just have to run this command, git config user email. So this will give you whatever email is stored of the user. Then if you want to change the same thing, then you have to uh, give the whatever is the field, the user dot name and the name of the uh, person. Okay, so I have by mistake I've written email id, it doesn't matter. Okay, and all this is happening, if you have not mentioned anything, then this is happening in the local. Okay, so basically there are three versions of this command. The same config, whatever config is there, you can run it for three different versions. Okay, so one can be for local, one can be for global, and one can be for system. Local means only for the repository that you're working on. Global means for the current logged in user of your Windows or Mac or whatever, right? For that particular user. And for the system means whoever users are there in your system. Okay, there may be 10 users working on your computer. Okay, so all the system will have the same config. Okay, so these are the three. Normally we use global if you are on a local computer, and if you are working on a not your own computer, then you will use local. Okay, then these are some other commands. This we will see later, how to create alias. Okay, so let's go to the next one. This is the first command that we tried, that is git init. Git init is basically to create a new repository. Okay, so you just go inside your directory and do git init, and a empty repository is created. Okay, then whenever you want to check the status of your repository, you just type git status and you will get the status of what all files have changed and which files are in the staging area, etc, etc. Okay, then git log is very important. I will cover this a little later with all the different commands. Then git add, as I have already discussed in the previous lecture, there are three different stages of your file. Okay, one is the working directory, one is the staging area, and one is the committed area. Okay, so whenever you want to put anything from the working directory to the staging area, you use git add. Okay, So these are the following syntax. Okay, if you want to add a single file, then it is git add and the file name. If you want to add the entire directory, it is git add and the name of the directory. If you want to add everything, then you just add a dot. Okay, so 99% of the times you will be using git add. Okay, then git commit. Once the things are on the staging area, now it's time to save the things into the git, right? So for that you are going to use git commit. Okay, now if you use git commit without anything else, then it will open an editor where you have to type the message manually. Okay, and if you don't want that, then you can directly give the message also with this flag, that is -m, with the commit message. So it will not open a text editor completely different. Okay, so I normally prefer to use this command. Okay, then if you started using git commit, then you will find that every time before running git commit, you always do git add. Okay, so you always do git add and then git commit. So this flag, that is -a, with -a, it will first do git add automatically and then do git commit. So that solves little bit of a hassle for us. So that's why if anybody is interested, they can run this command instead of git commit. So it will do two things. It will do git add as well as git commit. Okay, and it is the same. This one is the same as the previous one. Only thing is a message is also added. Okay, and finally git amend. Now this is very important. This I am not covered. I will cover it in a while. So basically git amend, let's suppose you did some changes and you forgot, you did some changes and later on you recalled that, okay, I want to add one more thing to the previous commit. Okay, so now if you run git commit now, it will create a new commit. Okay, so every time you create a git commit, it will create a new commit. But you don't want a new commit, you want to amend to the last commit, then this is the command to use. Okay, so that was git commit. Then git diff, I have shown you what is git diff. So if you simply run git diff, then it will check the files of your directory and differentiate find out the differences between that file and the latest commit. Okay, so if you run this like this, okay, without any parameters, it will give you all the differences with the current status and the committed status. Okay, if you do git diff and if you give something like this, okay, so this you are saying, again this head means your current latest commit. Okay, so that, and if you're giving a specific file, so it will show you only the difference of that file with this, instead of giving, if let's say for example you have changes in 10 files, if you run git diff, then it will give you changes of all the 10 files. But if you run this command, it will give you changes of that single file. Okay, whatever is the path of the file that you are giving. Okay, then if you want to find out the difference between two completely different commits, okay, that has nothing to do with the current commit, two different commits, then you can simply do git diff and the commit id 1, commit id 2. Okay, so whatever is the commit, so you can find out what was the difference between the those two commits, what files changed, what contents changed, etc, etc. Okay, and then this statement we will understand once we start with branches. Okay, so let's go to the next one, git reset. We have seen git reset in the last one, and specifically we have seen git reset hard. Okay, now there are three versions of git reset hard, git reset soft, and git reset mixed. Okay, now git by default, if you run git reset without any parameters, it is running mixed. Okay, now what happens is, as just now I have said, there are three different states of your git repository. One is your working directory, which you can see, which you change your files, everything. Okay, so that is your working directory. Then there is something called as a staging area. Okay, so that staging area is when you do git add. Okay, and finally when you commit, that is the committing area. Okay, so these are the three stages of your Git. Okay, now what git reset does is, if you do git reset soft, okay, if you do git reset soft, it only changes your committed area. Okay, so whatever things are in the commit history of your git, only that thing will be reset, nothing else. Okay, so your staging area will not be changed, your actual working directory will also be not changed. Okay, if you do git reset mixed, okay, that is the default one, in that case it will change the committing area, that means whatever the committed files are there, that as well as the staging area. Okay, so it will change the staging as well as committed area. And the last one is git reset hard that we have used. In this case it will change all the three areas. Okay, that is the working directory, the staging area, and the committed area. Okay, so this is what I normally use all the time, git hard, if I want to reset. Okay, then uh, these are the different ways in which you can reset the things. You can reset a single file. Okay, you can reset hard reset to a particular commit. You can go directly to, you can reset to that particular commit. Then you can also reset incrementally or decrementally down. Okay, so git reset hard head uh, -1. Okay, wherever is the head is, subtract 1 below that. Okay, and last time some of you have asked how to go up. Okay, so this is how you go up. You just use head and use the @ symbol, and in the curly braces you just specify how many steps you have to go up. Okay, so let's go to the next one, git checkout. Now git checkout is basically, if you want to see what all changes has happened in that particular commit, then you simply do a git checkout and your entire branch will go to that particular state. Okay, now this is very important. I will show you this last statement in detail. Okay, with an example. uh, are there any queries? Okay, if are there any queries still here before I go ahead with my, if there are any queries, just let me know. Okay, so I think there are no queries. These are some of the commands that you can take it as a self-study. Actually, there are more than 100 commands that I am not going to cover because those are not much used. So I have selected these few commands, which I will just give you a short info. Git rm is to remove any file from the repository. Short log, I will show you a demo if possible. Basically it is short, it's a what should I say, if you want to find out what other people are doing in your repository, I mean your friends who are working with you, so git short log will give you a summary of all the things. Okay, then git clean is there. If there are any unwanted changes that you want to remove from your git repository that you have not yet saved, then you can use git clean. And git reflog is no advanced, your git log does not show you everything. Okay, but git reflog will show you everything that is happening in your git repository. Okay, so this is much more advanced, so we will not go over there right now. Okay, so let's okay, so Ansari Mudassir, can I edit the file using Notepad? Yes, yes, you can edit with anything that you like. Okay, so I have used Visual Studio Code. You can use anything you want. Okay. One student is asking, what if we modify the working directory after git add and then git add again? You can do git add any number of times unless you commit it. Okay. So till then you can do any number of git adds. It does not matter. And let's suppose you do git add and uh, you add some more changes after git add and you forgot to do git add again. Okay, so whatever changes you do after the git add, okay, so that will not be committed. It will be there but it will not be committed. Okay, so always remember that if you want git to store it, then you have to do put it inside staging and then put it inside commit. Okay, so this is a three-way step. Okay, basically you are working on the working directory, then you have to stage your changes, whatever changes. Let's say for example you added let's say I will just show you one thing. Okay, so let me create a text file. Okay, and I will just add hello over here. Okay, and I save it. Now I do git add. Okay, so now it is this dg file, let's suppose it is in a git repository, and it is now in the staging area, right? Now if I open it again before committing, I'm opening it again, and let me do edit, and I do hello world. Okay, I do that and save. Okay, now if I run, now I'm not doing git add again. Okay, now I'm doing git commit directly. So what will happen according to you? Will hello world will be saved or hello will be saved? Any ideas? Only hello will be saved, right? Perfect. So basically if you do not do git add, then I mean if you do not stage your file, then it will not be saved in your uh, git repository during commit. Okay, so before commit, see to it that you stage your files that you want to save. If you do not stage, it will not be saved. Okay, so let me just delete it, and I think we can start. Okay, so let's create a new folder. Let's say week 2. Okay, so I have created a new folder called week 2. Right click, git bash here. Okay, let me just increase the font. Okay, and let me open. Okay, so you can see I have the git bash over here, which is in folder in the desktop in week 2 folder right now, and here nothing is there. Okay, inside the folder nothing is there. Let me quickly go ahead and do git init. Okay, as soon as I do git init, you can see there is a git folder created in your .git folder here, right? That means your git repository is created. Now I can start creating files. Okay, so I can, let's say, right click, new file. Okay, so let's say I'm on a master branch. By default you will be on the master branch, right? So let's call it m1. Okay, so this is because it is my first commit. Let me call it as m1. Okay, so I've created this m1.txt file. Right now let us do git status, and I have m1.txt. Okay, fine. So now I want to add it. So add it to the staging area. I will do git add. Now again, if I do git status, you can see what is the status. Previously it was untracked files. Now it is saying changes to be committed. Inside that it is saying new file. Okay, so it is started tracking now. Now to commit, I just have to do git commit -m the message. Okay, now before doing -m, we have been always using -m. Let's see what happens if I use without -m. Okay, only git commit. If I press enter, you can see now you have to compulsorily put some message. Okay, so it is showing you this screen where you have to put the message. Okay, so I will say my first. Okay, you have to, this is a vim editor. Okay, so in vim editor you have to press I to go into insert mode. You can see below there is an insert mode. Okay, so once you are in the insert mode, you can write first commit. Okay, and after that you have to press escape to go out of commit insert mode. Press semicolon, oh sorry, colon, W for write and Q for quit. Okay, if you press enter, you can see we have done the first commit. Okay, now instead of doing so many things, that's why I prefer to use git commit -m. Okay, so that I don't have to press so many buttons just to put some messages, right? So that's why when I taught you at the first time, we used git commit -m. Okay. Okay, so let's get back. We have done our first commit. You can see in the git log, you can see there is one commit over here which has created m1 file. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more commit, maybe two more commits quickly. Okay, so instead of right clicking here and creating a new file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a command called touch. Okay, and m2.txt. Okay, so that what it does is it just creates a file. That's it. Okay, so it has created this m2.txt. Now I'm going to do git add, git commit, second commit. Okay, I've done the second commit. Now let's do one more file, git touch3. So that creates a third file. And let me just add it to a staging area. Now the third commit. Okay, now if I do git log, you can see there are 3 commits, right? So now today what we are going to do is we are going to, this is our currently working scenario. Now what we are going to do is we are going to learn something called as branching. Okay, now many of the times what will happen is let's say you have developed a open source software or any software, and you have released it to the public. Okay, that means the people have started using it. So whenever you want to develop some new feature or you want to fix some bugs, you will not work on the master branch. Okay, so master branch will be your the branch which is visible to the public, right? So you will mostly not work on master branch. Instead of that, what you will do is you will create a branch of that and create the changes over there. Then after the changes are done, you will merge it to the branch. Okay, so that is the normal procedure. Okay, so whenever I want to do I want to add a new feature, or I want to do a hot fix or anything, so I will first go to the master branch, wherever the master branch head is. Right now you can see the head is over here, master branch. Okay, that is at the third commit. Now at this point I will create a branch. Okay, so let's see how to create a branch. It's called git git branch and the name of the branch. Okay, so let's say I want to create a new feature. Its name is feature 1. Okay, you can give the branch name anything you want. Okay, so I'm giving the name of the branch as feature 1. If I press enter, okay, now before I press enter, I will just remove this and I will show you what it shows when I press git branch only. Okay, if I just press git branch, it shows all the branches that are there in your repository, in your git repository, right? So currently there is only one branch, that is master. Okay, and if you see at the star in front of it, that means you are in that particular branch. Okay, so if I just now create a new branch, feature 1, and if I press enter, And now if I do git branch, you can see now there are two branches. Okay, one is master, one is feature one, and the star is at master. Okay, now I want to if right now if I start doing any changes and if I commit, it is still on the master branch. Okay, so you will be doing changes on the master branch. So now let us switch to the feature branch and then do the changes. Okay,